Good evening. 2 missions, 1 impact. This evening we're sharing with you 2 separate mission efforts. These are separate mission efforts, but they have the same goal in mind, and that is seeking and saving the lost. Save Asian Souls was started by my father, and Philippine Mission Casa Esperanza of Angels was started by my wife and I. Both these organizations are 501c3 organizations here in the U.S. Both these mission efforts are under the oversight of the Red Bowling Springs Church of Christ in Red Bowling Springs, Tennessee. Save Asian Souls, the first mission we'll be telling you about this evening. The goal of Save Asian Souls is to find girls between the ages of 8 and 20 years old that are vulnerable or at risk for human trafficking and teach them the Bible. So how will we accomplish this goal? We provide a safe place for them to live. We call this a safe house. We give them biblical as well as secular training. In some instances, we help them set up a business, and then we check up to make sure that they remain faithful. Save Asian Souls operates in 4 countries: Nepal, Laos, Thailand, and the Philippines. So what do these safe houses provide for these girls? These girls come from places where they are unsafe. They are probably not loved and cared for properly. So these safe houses give them new beginnings. We provide them with love, safety, and the most important thing that we can provide for them is the hope of heaven. So just some statistics about modern-day slavery, especially in the Asia-Pacific region. Over 29 million people are estimated to be living in modern slavery, the largest regional total worldwide in the Asia-Pacific region. Over 15 million people in forced labor, over 14 million in forced marriages, and over 27 million children are estimated to be in child labor across this region of the world. It's a very lucrative business to the tune of $62 billion per year from forced labor alone in the Asia-Pacific annually. So human trafficking is an umbrella term, also known as modern slavery. It is an umbrella term for situations where people are exploited through force, fraud, or coercion. We often think of human trafficking as someone grabs you off the sidewalk, throws you in a van, and drives away, but most people are actually tricked or coerced, believing that they're going for legitimate work, only to find out later this is not true. There are 2 main categories: forced labor, and this can happen in different industries, various different industries, and sex trafficking. There are other common types or forms: debt bondage, domestic servitude, and child labor exploitation. There are still even more: criminal exploitation, where people are forced into criminal activities, organ removal trafficking, and in some countries, even child soldiers are recruited and forced into armed conflicts. So in the Philippines is a Tier 1 country as far as human trafficking. This is determined by the U.S. State Department, what tier levels countries fall into. Tier 1 means they meet the minimum requirements to combat human trafficking. Although the Philippines is a Tier 1 country, there is still rampant trafficking, especially in the form of online child sexual exploitation. You'll notice that with the Philippines, as well as these other countries, there are complicit officials. So government officials are involved in these illegal activities and profiting from it. For the Philippines, we have 1 safe house, 15 girls, and 11 Christians. Just a couple of photos of our girls in the Philippine location. Thailand is a Tier 2. They do not meet the minimum requirements to combat human trafficking. There are a lot of scam centers surrounding Thailand, and so they need people. So people are trafficked out of Thailand to these other countries to help run their scam operations. In this photo, just a couple of photos of our girls in Thailand, and my mother and father in the photo there with Hong. This is not a recent photo, but not too far back. Hong is the man that oversees all our safe houses in Thailand and Laos. So in Thailand, we have 3 safe houses, 41 girls, and 10 Christians. Just a few pictures from some of our Thailand locations: Chiang Mai, some photos of the girls at that location, and Moktahan. So Laos is a Tier 3. They have dropped from a Tier 2 to a Tier 3. They have special economic zones where the government is trying to encourage business and economics. However, they turn a blind eye, and so there is rampant corruption and trafficking in these areas. You'll notice 0 prosecutions in the SEZ-linked traffickers or complicit officials in 2024-25. 0 prosecutions. They're not even prosecuting people for trafficking. In Laos, we have 4 safe houses, 40 girls, and 24 Christians. Just a recent photo from one of our safe houses there in Laos, and a few more photos of our girls from Laos locations. Earlier this month, we had 2 baptisms in Laos. That's the 2 girls there. For Nepal, Nepal is a Tier 2 watch list. Watch list does not mean they're about to move up a tier. It means they are potentially going to drop down. So in Nepal, we see labor trafficking, bonded labor, and child exploitation, with victims being sent to the Middle East, the Gulf, India, and Southeast Asia. In Nepal is where we have the largest number of safe houses and the largest number of girls, 25 safe houses, 239 girls, and 105 Christians. Earlier this month, we also had some baptisms in Nepal. Sagar is our main man in Nepal. He also runs a Bible college in Nepal. He's a very busy man, but he oversees all of our safe houses in Nepal. So at all of our locations, our girls are involved in Bible studies at their safe houses, as well as they also attend gospel meetings if there's one in their area. And of course, they also attend worship services at congregations near the safe houses. In Nepal, we have a sewing program. This is a 2-year program. Girls learn to measure someone, of course, make the pattern and assemble the clothes. This program, if they graduate from this 2-year program, we give them a sewing machine and all the materials they need to set up a seamstress business. For 2 years, we supply or help supplement that business to get it off the ground. This makes these girls much less vulnerable to human traffickers. They own their own business, they have income, they are much less vulnerable to the tactics of recruiters. At all our safe houses, they do sustainability efforts on different levels depending on the climate and the space they have available. Maybe not on our menu very often, but the top left, they do raise frogs as part of their food source. Bottom left, they're harvesting mushrooms, and of course they also raise fruits and vegetables as they're able, and in some locations, limited supply of livestock. We also do public education efforts while our recruiters are out, our workers are out looking for girls to come to the safe houses. They're also educating people about the tactics of human traffickers. So they make lots of wonderful promises to the people. We have a great job for you in Singapore or Hong Kong or wherever it may be. You're going to make lots of money. You'll never be poor again in your life, only to reach the destination country. Their passports, their papers are all taken from them. They are now a slave for whatever these people want them to do. They cannot even get back home. They have no documentation anymore. So we try and educate people about these tactics. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. We also provide disaster relief efforts for people that are suffering from a natural disaster, providing them with food, clothing, bedding, and other necessities. So how can you as an individual help? You can make a donation. You can sponsor a girl. For Save Asian Souls, it's $30 a month to sponsor a girl. You can spread the word to others that might want to be interested in assisting in this work. And of course, you can pray for the girls, pray for our workers. This is some contact information for Save Asian Souls. Don't try to worry about remembering this. At the end of my presentation, I'll tell you how you can have some printed material to take home with you that has all this information. The second mission effort that we're telling you about this evening is Casa Esperanza of Angels. That's our incorporation name in the Philippines. Here in the U.S., we're incorporated under the name of Philippine Mission. We are located in central Philippines, the island of Negros, in a town called Tanjay. T-A-N-J-A-Y is pronounced Tanjay. Our mission is to seek and save the lost through 2 avenues: the residential care of orphaned, abandoned, abused, and neglected children, and outreach and evangelism to the community there around us. Our first home was completed in 2018. It's our boys' home called House of Hope. It has a maximum capacity of 16 boys. It is currently full. One boy is the biological son of our house mother, but he is integrated into the house with the other boys, follows the same house rules as all the other boys. So our second home was completed in 2020. It was funded by my father's organization, Save Asian Souls, and he sponsors some of the girls in that home. This home is the exact same size, but has a different floor plan, so it houses a maximum of 24 girls. It is called our House of Faith. It currently only has 4 empty beds, so our 2 existing homes are almost at maximum capacity. This is a Google Earth image of the overhead of our property is 4.94 acres, almost 5 acres. Starting from the extreme left is our guardhouse. Our learning center was completed in 2024, has a multi-purpose room, a library with a computer lab for our kids, has a clinic, and our licensed social workers office. Being a licensed facility, we must have licensed social workers as part of our requirements. We have a small playground. Kids love to play. We have our 2 existing children's homes I've told you about. If you'll notice the space beside them, we have space for 2 more homes exactly the same size beside them. Our laundry house, our staff visitor housing was completed earlier this year. I'll show you a photo of that. Our family cottage is where my wife and I reside when we're there in the Philippines. Our older boys residence building is now under construction, and a large part of the rest of the property is dedicated to our food production sustainability efforts with our mini food forest, our chicken coop, and vegetable gardens. To date, from 2018, we have accepted 56 children have come through our doors, and they fall basically into 6 different categories. Dependent being the largest number of children from that category. Dependent does not mean that their parents or their whoever relatives they're living with are not trying to care for them. It simply means they cannot supply the basic necessities and needs for the children. Most of our children have fallen into that category. 17 came from the neglected category. Not every parent is a good parent. Sometimes children are neglected. 7 poor at risk, 4 abandoned, 4 sexually abused, and 3 physically abused. I'd like to show just a few of our children real quick. This is a photo of Mary Lynn and Jamaica. Their grandmother was dropping them off at the facility. Their father was in prison. Their mother had left the family. She incidentally died earlier this year. The girls had basically very little contact with their mother their whole life. But you can see a recent photo on the right there, and they're doing quite well. This is Jonah Bell. If you'll notice the home on the left, this is a very typical Filipino home in the rural areas. There is no appliances, there is no furniture, there is no electricity, there is no running water. So it's just a bamboo slat floor, home constructed of bamboo, cocoa wood, various materials that they can find. So they will eat right there on the floor. They will spread out blankets that will sleep right there on the floor. This is a very typical home in the rural areas of the Philippines. You can see the photo in the middle. She came to us in 2021, a skinny, shy little girl, and a recent photo on the extreme right from 2026. This is Maria Flor. In 2021, that's her standing in her grandmother's home in bare feet with the plastic bag. That is everything that she owns in that little plastic bag. And she, earlier this year, graduated from elementary school, the photo on the right. This is Jezebel and Joel. You can see their home on the left. Actually 6 children in this home, living in that home. We took 2 children from this family. I don't know about you, but I can't imagine growing up in that home with 8 people, 6 children and 2 adults. It's almost unimaginable to me. But you can see a photo there in the middle of the 2 children right before they came to our facility, and a recent photo on the right of the 2 children. Jezebel is a very good girl, easy to manage. Her brother is 7 years old and more than a challenge. This is Lorjan and Rand's home, the home on the left. Their parents are members of the church. They both came to us already baptized. Rand's is learning to prepare and deliver devotional messages. He also leads singing and, of course, also leads prayers and helps on the Lord's table on Sundays. These are our 2 very best behaved children. We're very happy to be helping them achieve their goals. So what are the factors driving the need for a facility like ours? The strongest need, besides learning the gospel, is poverty and economic hardships. Their families simply cannot provide the basic needs for them. Many of these families have a large number of children. They can barely feed themselves, much less all the children. They cannot afford to send them to school. Even though the tuition is free, they cannot afford the transportation, the school supplies, the uniform, all these things that are required for school, so they cannot afford that. Of course, they cannot afford health care, dental, or medical needs for the children. They cannot provide proper housing. I've shown you some of the housing, quite inadequate. very dangerous, as the typhoons that frequently come through the Philippines do. Can't imagine being in one of those homes during a typhoon. The parents that truly care about their children, even though it is a sacrifice, will give them up to our care to give the child a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that we can give them. Many of the children that don't end up in a facility like ours will end up in child labor simply because their families need them to work. They will tell them to stay home from school and will help them in the fields so they can earn a little bit more money. Some of the other factors that seem to weave through the lives of our children are family breakups, usually due to infidelity of one of the parents. This often ends with them separating. There are a lot of families with abuse and violence. This is also normally tied to addiction, whether it's alcohol, drugs, or gambling. But these are very common threads that weave through the lives of the children that we care for. We currently have 35 children in our care. You can see a photo here of our young ladies. You would never know looking at these photos that they have been through trials, difficulties, traumas in their lives that many of us would never want to have happened to us. This is our young men. Most of them have grown up without a father figure in their lives, or at least not one that they should mimic. Many people think that a facility like ours has a lot of little small children, but our acceptance age is between the ages of 3 and 14 years old. So you can see at the current time, most of the children in our facility fall between the ages of 11 and 15 years old. So we have a lot of teenagers that we're caring for at the current time. We have baptized 36 children since the beginning of our operations. That gives us a 64% of the doors of the children that come through our doors have been baptized. These are just the numbers for the baptisms over the years and a few photos. Last month in June, we baptized 8 more children. These children had expressed an interest to be baptized before my wife and I left the Philippines. We met with each of them individually to get a feeling of how the understanding of them, understand the commitment that they would be making, and we decided that they needed just a little bit more study. So one of our workers studied with them for a little bit longer, and then they were baptized on June 11. So the wonderful thing about our facility is if the children stay for many years, they will get a lot of biblical teaching. So we have a lot of Bible studies throughout the week in their homes. Each Saturday morning we have separate Bible studies for boys and girls, and then a combined Bible study, boys and girls Bible study. They also do song practice, but they get a lot of biblical knowledge throughout the week. We, of course, provide them with worship services every week, Sunday and Wednesdays. We're trying to raise them in a Christ-centered location and atmosphere. The homes are set up like a family home with a house mother that cares for them on a daily basis. We're encouraging discipleship. As I said, many of these children have been through very difficult times in their life, so we're trying to give them a hope of heaven to get them through these difficult times in their lives. We're trying to build their conviction and their faith so that it is a lifelong faith. Our older boys are learning how to prepare and deliver devotional messages. We let them do that on Wednesday evenings, and they're getting quite good at it. Also, our other baptized boys are serving on the Lord's table on Sunday mornings, and other baptized boys, we have 2 boys that are learning to lead singing. So they are not only the church of today, but the church of tomorrow. So we're trying to build leaders in the church. Many Filipino churches will have a minister that works a secular job and only preaches on Sunday. Most churches do not have an elder or deaconship, deacons and elders in their church, so they lack leadership. So we're trying to build leaders in the church for the future as well. Everything is not peaches and cream at a facility like ours. We do have a lot of challenges. We have discharged 21 children since we began. Most of them fall into the behavior problem category. So you have to understand that many of these children come from an atmosphere where they have had very little discipline. They are not used to being reprimanded or having consequences for their actions, and some of them simply cannot adapt to our structured environment. So we have house rules, we have a lot of regulations that we must follow, so some of these children simply cannot adapt to this kind of situation. 7 have been returned to their families due to parental or family decisions. We're not running a prison. We want children that want to be there, that want to seize the opportunity that we're giving them. And if they do not want to be there, we will return them to their family. We've luckily only had 4 runaways since we began, not many of those. And 2 did not fit our programs. These were actually 2 girls we were led to believe had no disabilities, mental or physically, only for us to find out later that they had learning disabilities, and so we returned them to their family. We also face a lot of other challenges in our work. As I said, we have a lot of teenagers in our care right now, and of course a cell phone is a real challenge for us. Our children do not have phones. But when they go to school, all the other children have phones, and the other children are tempting them with the phones. Let's look at TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, let's watch a movie, all while they're supposed to be paying attention in class. So this is a real problem for us. Of course, they are also bombarded with worldly influences and peer pressure with these other children at school. Most of the Filipinos identify as Catholic in faith, over 85%, and these other children do not have the same morals and ethics that we're trying to teach our children. So we're combating these influences on our children on a daily basis. What do we provide for children when you sponsor a child? Of course, the number one thing that we can do for them is provide them with biblical teaching. Regardless of what they end up in life, a rice farmer or a doctor, I don't care, as long as we've taught them the Bible and they've developed that relationship with God. That's the bottom line of what we're trying to do. Of course, we provide them with the other things they need in life, such as clothes, shelter, school supplies, and of course food, which they love. They get 3 meals a day and 2 snacks a day. Many of our children, when they come to us, they're malnourished, but within a couple of weeks of nutritious meals, we can see their complexion change, their wounds heal. It's very visible after a short time. Of course, we provide them with secular learning. They need to learn something so that they can sustain themselves in this life and their future families. School year has already started in the Philippines. This year we have 14 elementary, 17 high school, and 4 senior high students. We also provide them with medical, dental, and psychological services as needed. As I mentioned, most of them are not able to go to doctors or dentists. It's not unusual for a child to come to us, go to the dentist for the first time and come back with, I need 4 cavities filled, I need 2 teeth extracted, they're too bad. So these children have a lot of things that they need that they have not been able to have in their life previous to coming to our facility. Of course, we're preparing these children for life, so we have to teach them practical life lessons. Our older children learn how to cook. The photo on the left is our boys getting ready for their cooking contest this summer. They were pitted against our girls' home, and the boys actually won the cooking contest this year. And the girls there on the right are preparing the judges' table for their part of the cooking contest. We, of course, teach them things like folding napkins, how to do a place setting, table etiquette, hospitality. They learn a lot of different things. They also learn to be ingenious and ingenuity and resourcefulness. Here they're cutting up old clothes. They weave them to make mop heads, hot pad holders, rugs for their home. So we keep them quite busy and keep them educated on many different things. Of course, kids love to play, so we have a playground. We do sports fest. They get to learn teamwork and sportsmanship, different things like that. We bring in professionals from the outside. They teach them first aid, CPR, things that can be very essential for them. And our fire department actually comes and teaches us fire safety as well as how to deal with fire emergencies. This year was our 3rd year of Vacation Bible School. We were lucky that we had 8 members of the Creekside Church of Christ come to lead our VBS. This is the 2nd year that they've come from Greenville, Texas, to help us lead our VBS. It was a wonderful week, very impactful for our kids, as well as some children from the local neighborhoods. We averaged 55 kids every day. Of course, they had games and crafting that tied to their daily lessons. And no VBS is complete without the good old snack time, of course. Of course, their kids are broken up into groups in this photo. There's only 3 children in this photo that are from our facility. All the others are from the neighborhood. Even though the older people in the community being born Catholic and I will die Catholic, are not interested in talking about the Bible normally. The children are listening, and so let's teach the children the gospel in hopes that we can convert them. So we also have our own sustainability program. Our children are actively involved in this. Our older boys help manage our animals. We have geese and chickens. The bottom right photo is our boys sifting our compost. Anything that is biodegradable, we turn into compost, and then of course add that to our gardens. All the children are part of this as part of their chores and duties to manage our vegetable gardens, our fruit trees, and various things. And the wonderful thing about gardening, of course, is the harvesting and eating. They get to do plenty of that as well. As far as the construction update, I mentioned earlier that we completed our staff visitor housing earlier this year. This building has 6 separate apartment or living spaces. 4 of them are dedicated to our staff. There's limited space in the children's homes for staff to overnight. So 4 rooms our staff will go back to, sleep, shower, and then return to the children's home early in the next morning to work. But 2 spaces in this building are dedicated to VIP or overseas guests. Perhaps some of you would like to come visit. You may be able to stay on the property there. These rooms have a little bit more amenities to make your stay comfortable. So what's next for us? Our older boys residence building is under construction. As I mentioned earlier, we need to push these children toward independence. This building will be for our older boys, senior high or college age boys. They will have an individual private room with a bed and desk. They will have a little bit more freedom. They will be pushed toward independence, a little bit more responsibility in this home. So this home is up out of the ground. We've completed the foundation, the slab is poured, the columns are up, and they're beginning to lay the concrete block walls. So how can you as an individual or congregation help this mission? We ask for sponsors for our children. It's only $35 a month to sponsor a child. That's $420 a year, a very small price to pay to bring a child out of the poverty I've already shown you, teach them secular learning so they can survive in this life, but the most important thing that we can do for them is teach them God's Word. We accept, of course, one-time donations in any amount. Don't think that your small donation, the only thing you can make will not help. Everything helps, even small add up to more. So everything can help, so we appreciate that. Monthly and quarterly support is wonderful. That way we know how much is coming in and we can manage our money more effectively. One thing we don't like to think about, we're all leaving this earth one day. Perhaps you would like to leave a legacy donation in a will. We can accept that. We also accept stocks. If you have Delta Sky Miles you're not using, you can transfer to us for our travels back and forth to the Philippines. If you're not financially able to help us, you can, of course, pray for us, pray for our children, pray for our staff. Perhaps you have some books at home or here at the church that are just gathering dust. We can use those in our library. Perhaps you have some Bible study materials. We can ship that over. If you'd like to visit us, help with a VBS or other activity, you can do that. If you have some old sports equipment that's still usable in your home, we can ship that to the Philippines for our kids. And children's clothes. If you have children's clothes, especially shirts for the boys or Sunday dresses for the girls. We're also seeking a mature couple that would like to go to the Philippines for short periods of time while my wife and I are here in the U.S. to help oversee the operations there. If you're qualified, you can teach or preach, be involved in the teaching of the children, and just help manage the facility while we're away. If you'd like to do that or you know someone, just contact us. We have our own website that we'd love for you to check out if you like. We also are on Facebook. We post quite frequently. You can keep up with the work readily that way. You can always contact me personally at my email address. In the foyer, my wife has set up a display. There are lots of photos we'd love for you to take a few minutes after the service to see. Also on that table are sign-up sheets for Save Asian Souls as well as Philippine Mission. You can sign up tonight to sponsor a child for either one of the missions, or you can sign up for a newsletter. We send out a monthly newsletter. We'll send that out to you every month if you sign up tonight. Also on that table are brochures for Save Asian Souls as well as Philippine Mission. Be sure to pick up a brochure because on the back of the brochure is all our contact information, phone numbers, email addresses, websites, everything is right there. You won't have to have remembered anything except take the brochure home with you. We're thankful for this opportunity tonight to share with you about these 2 mission efforts. We hope that you are encouraged to know that the work continues and that we are continuing with the progress. We'll shift gears for just a few moments. I'll share a few words with you and then we'll extend an invitation. So The question I'd like to ask you tonight is, are you prepared? Are you preparing for what matters most? So I'm a big planner. I like to plan everything. What time do we need to leave? How long is the trip? Where are we staying? What time is the check-in? I do all those things. I like to know everything about it. Most of us plan different things in our lives, whether it's work, school, or special events. So planning and preparation is just part of our lives. But the question is, are we preparing for eternity in the same way that we prepare for our lives each and every day? In Matthew 24, verse 44, it says, "Therefore, you also must be ready." Very, very clear. You must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour that you do not expect. That's not meant to scare us. It's meant to wake us up. So we have to be ready for heaven, and it isn't something that we can wait to do. We need to do that today and do it every single day. So what does that look for us? That looks like preparing for heaven means walking with God daily, whether it's through repentance, faith, and obedience. And when we think about faith and obedience, I don't think we could not think about Noah. So in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 7, it says, "By faith Noah, being divinely warned of things not yet seen, moved with godly fear, prepared an ark for the saving of his household, by which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is according to faith." So he prepared an ark, not knowing about this flood, not knowing if it was for real. That's real faith. And he obeyed God to build the ark to his exact specifications. That's real preparation for a very, very long time. So what does this look like for us today? Walking with God every day in prayer and in his word, turning away from sin, even when it's hard, and choosing what's right, living in a way that reflects Jesus, his love, his patience, his kindness. 2 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1, "Therefore, having these promises, beloved, let us cleanse ourselves of all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God." Being ready shows that our faith is real. But preparing ourselves is only part of it. We have to prepare others in this world. The Great Commission, I'm sure we're all familiar with, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations." So we're preparing the people we love, the people around us, the people we come into contact with, even people halfway around the world. We do this not just by our actions, but with our words. The way that we act and respond to people either push people away from Christ or draw them closer to Christ. Opportunities don't last forever. In Colossians chapter 4, verses 5 through 6, "Walk in wisdom toward those who are outside, redeeming the time. Let your speech always be with grace,